good morning. Good morning. Ready? Everybody's in? Okay. I'd like to call the Employee Retirement System of the Government of Virgin Islands regular meeting of the Board of Trustees to order December 19, 2019. Roll call, please.
Trustee Colwood.
Present.
Trustee Clendenin. Ms. Clendenin said she'll be late. I think she had a late flight from St. Croix. Trustee Cohen.
Ex-officio.
Mr. Moses. Mr. Moses, I don't think the speaker is on over there. Because he's not hearing. Okay.
Can you hear us now?
Dr. Cohen, are you hearing us?
I'm sure he's not. He would have answered.
Let's go.
Guilty. Sorry.
You ready there?
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'm back on.
No.
Trustee Colwood.
Present.
Trustee Clendenin says she'll be late. Trustee Cohen.
Present.
Trustee Liger. Absent. Trustee Maynard.
Present.
Trustee McDonough. Absent. Trustee Smith. Absent.
Excuse me.
Chairman Callender.
Present.
Chair 4 present. 2 absent. 1 excused.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Comments and suggestions from
Well,
retirees.
I think I need to revise that. I didn't include Ms. Clendenin, so it's 4 present, 3 absent, 1 excused.
Go ahead. Out of it.
And she really doesn't count for purposes of establishing a quorum.
I haven't called the roll.
Dr. Cohen, is there a retiree on St. Croix?
No, it's actually a reporter from the source. Mention your name.
Don Buchanan.
Thank you, sir. There's no one to retire here. Okay, Secretary's minutes. There was a special meeting held on 10/15/2019, and we delayed review of those minutes from last meeting. So we need to do that today. I get a motion for approval. Or any corrections, additions, deletions?
No correction.
Trustees.
Hearing no correction, Mr. Chair, move to accept those minutes.
Okay, I'll second it.
Roll call.
Trustee Colwood.
Yes.
Trustee Cohen.
Yes.
Trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Menard.
Yes.
Trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Smith, absent. Chairman Calendar.
Yes. Yes.
Chair, 4 yes, 3 absent.
Okay, minutes have been approved. Now, we'd like to consider the minutes of the regular meeting held on November 21st, 2019. Need a motion? Any corrections, additions, deletions?
Hearing no corrections, Mr. Chair, make a motion to accept the minutes of November 21st.
Okay, I'll second that.
Trustee Colwood.
Yes.
Trustee Cohen.
Yes.
Trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Menard.
Yes.
Trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Smith, absent. Chairman Calendar.
Yes.
Chair, 4 yes, 3 absent.
Minutes have been approved. Communication and correspondences.
Letter dated December 2nd, 2019. Austin L. Nib, CPA, GMA, Administrator, CEO, Government Employees Retirement System, 3438 Comprehensive Garter, GRS Complex, 3rd floor, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, 00802. Their Administrator, CEO Nibs. The purpose of this correspondence is to request additional information from your office after participating in your meeting on November 25th. 1. What are the total number of service credits GRS has received for its members since 2012? Please provide us with a running total for each year to include how many members paid their portions and the government's portion to receive said benefits. 2. A listing of all insurance companies or financial institutions GRS has received offers from to fund the GRS system over the last 7 years. How many of these offers were declined by the GRS board? 3. What is the name of the reviewing company GRS is currently in negotiation with and the interest rate for the $1 billion being negotiated? 4.
Yes.
Please provide any additional information that is pertinent or support my requests. Looking forward to your favorable response. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Best regards, Denman Hodge Jr., Senator, 33rd Legislature of the Virgin Islands. Letter dated December 2nd, 2019. Mr. Austin Nibs, Administrator, Government Employees Retirement System, 3438 from Princess Garter, 3rd floor, GRS Building, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, 00802. Dear Mr. Nibs, this correspondence serves as an official invitation to provide testimony at the upcoming Committee on Education and Workforce Development hearing on Monday, December 16, 2019 at 9 a.m. at Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall. Please provide testimonies on the following. Bill number 33-005, an act amending Title 13 Virgin Islands Code, Chapter 25 to preserve the rights of career employees after service in an unclassified position, proposed by Kenneth Gittins. You are welcome to have the appropriate support staff accompany you at this hearing. The deadline to submit testimony is Wednesday, December 11, 2019. We look forward to your timely response and to seeing you at the hearing on Monday, December 16, 2019. Should you have any questions or concerns or questions, contact Monet Edwards at 340-693-3686 or email at medwards@legvi.org. Kind regards, Donna Fred Gregory, Senator, 33rd Legislature. That ends the reading. This meeting was postponed.
Do you have a new date for it?
No.
You don't. Trustees, any questions or any comments about either letter?
Did you respond to Senator Hodge?
Well, I respond in partially. I didn't respond to the insurance part of it. The information he's requesting in number one is very time consuming. We would have to request assistance from we have some information in-house manually, but we will have to request how to assistance in running a report to capture everything that he wants. So it's gonna take some time. But we did have a memo that we drafted up regards to the meeting that we had. And I would, what I plan to do, just extract some information from there and send it to him, but, you know, there was really no proposal to us. We went up and we got a briefing as to what is available, you know, so that's how we're gonna respond.
Well, see, he is the one who walked. Again, any other questions? Trustees, any other questions on Mr. Ned?
No, I'm good.
No? But see, it is the same senator who walked out of the meeting. Shows that if he had stayed, maybe he would have learned some more. None of this makes any sense. I don't see how this is going to help the system in any way. I guess I will respond to some of that in my report. The other, now I have to give some credit to Senator Giddens for his proposed legislation. Too often, classified employees, individuals who take unclassified jobs, are sent home once there's a change in administration. So there's really no hope of continuing within the system. So what happens is that these individuals either go into private industry or they leave territory. So we may be losing some really qualified individuals. So I have to give him some credit for this.
Should they get classified before the administration changes?
Yeah, but see that and you're right, and that has happened too. I'm telling you, when you mentioned that, you know, before the administration changes, then you attempt to become classified, and see that doesn't make any sense.
But many of them were classified. They opted for these exempt positions based on salary or decision to support. So they knew when they signed that exempt position, they signed on to that exempt position, they knew they knew that this is a term sensitive acceptance. When this term expires, there's a possibility you're on your way out unless you make friends along the lines so that you can your service is invaluable enough that they keep you. But when they accept the exempt positions, they know that it comes with a term limit or a potential term limit. But many people opt for that higher salary because some of these positions are created during that term. So these are things, and that's what we tell people all the time. Weigh your options before you accept an exempt position, because at the end of it, you are then forced to either start over and or fend for yourself. But I commend him. They're trying to keep some money in the system. But if they don't secure a government job, there's nothing we can do for them unless they're paying into it. Like me.
But see, there are other situations, and I can be personal now. I went from a classified position to an unclassified position, getting a lower salary, because I wanted to help
Your
the
desire
system.
to serve.
Right. And when I got fired, I didn't leave. When I got fired, there were no positions available because it was all political. How do you not give a doctor a job? And we screw, and not just a doctor, but a damn good doctor. How you do that? How you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
We live in a society where politics rule.
Yeah, but it's total nonsense.
But I understand. So commend Senator Giddens for his
Yes.
attempt. I do agree with you, but we also have to look at if that's the employee's responsibility to secure another job that keeps them in the system. Unfortunately, sometimes it's within their desired occupation, and sometimes they have to step out.
Also budget constraints. Suppose there's no vacancy. What, you gonna just hire somebody just to give them a job?
They do it all the time.
I'm just saying.
Hire people, create positions for people.
I'm just saying the correct, I
But
mean,
because-
I understand what he's trying to do, but it's based on budget constraints.
All right.
We would want as much money as we can. The
Yeah, that's what we
GRS.
do, but
See, I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm talking about just those people being able to secure a job and stay here, live here. Not having to leave the territory because somebody won a popularity contest.
Lord have mercy. Next.
All right. Oh, chairperson's report. Okay. So bear with me because I haven't given a report for a few months. Let me see where I can find this. Was up late last night doing all kinds of craziness. All right, report. As you all aware, there was a meeting held on
Slow down.
November 25th, 2019, when the governor, the members of the staff, and some members of the legislature attended a presentation by the GERS. I was pleased with and enthusiastic about their presence. However, I was equally disappointed that the board's recommendation was dismissed without much discussion on its merits. Systems cash is due to run out in or before 2023. And I'm seeing numbers that are before that, dates that before that. The board, along with its actuaries, recognized that there were only two ways to keep the system solvent. One, via significant cash infusion, or two, by decreasing the amount of money that the system pays out annually, along with some lesser amount of cash infusion. Expenses for the system amount to less than $60 million annually. Therefore, any cuts from that source would be insignificant. The other source would be the annuities or benefits that amount to greater than $21 million per month. The board's recommendation to decrease annuities by 30% was done with the hope of prolonging the system, recognizing that such action would create a hardship for many retirees, but also protecting the active members. The board's recommendation, which would have started on October 1, 2020, was not considered because, and I quote, it would be done in an election year. The fact is that every year in the Virgin Islands is an election year, even if we do not go to the polls annually. The governor has stated that it is not the responsibility of the executive branch to fund the GERS. It is also not the responsibility of the GERS to find funding for the system. While one should, and I quote, never look a gift horse in the mouth, the anticipated $50 million per year that is to be generated through the cannabis legislation somewhere down the road will not pay the retirees annuities for even 1 month. Remember the present money annuity payroll, and I think November's payroll was in excess of $21.5 million. I am aware that those monies would be coming from one of many funding sources. However, if there's no significant funding before 2023, retirees' annuity will be decreased by as much as 75%. If this occurs, the consequences will be brutal and I am using the term which was expressed by the Prime Minister of France, where they're also going through some pension reforms. Even though the meeting was called to discuss what the GRS thought was an issue of paramount importance, legislators took the opportunity to question the administrator regarding, one, the time it takes for a retiree to receive his or her additional annuity payment, two, the sale of Carambola Beach Resort, three, termination of GRS's agreement with WICO, and the implementation of the loan program. Where is the priority? Apparently no one is hearing us. The system has a cash flow problem. Why would we want to make loans at this time? On October 1, 2012, the system's investment fund portfolio had in excess of $1 billion. On September 30, 2019, that fund had approximately $614 million. That's a difference of approximately $400 million. In spite of gains in 6 of the 7 years, totaling $347 million, there was a net cash flow of negative $747 million. This was due to withdrawals in order to pay benefits. On another subject, while trying not to preempt the administrator who is scheduled to testify before the legislature sometime in January on Bill number 33-0132, which will attempt to strengthen the board by requiring greater expertise among GS board members, please be cognizant of the fact that even if the brightest minds with the greatest experiences were placed on the board and the system does not have adequate funding, the result will still be insolvency. Finally, if the legislature wants to do something that will be of value to the territory, it should pass a bill requiring minimum educational level for all senatorial candidates. And that does not mean high school diploma. That's the end of my report. Any questions? Any comments? Why are you all so quiet? All right, next on the agenda, Chairperson.
My only comment in regards to the bill with the educational requirements, shouldn't the board be the one testifying? Why would they want the administrator to get involved in something like that? I'm questioning why, because I think the board should be the one, the board chair should be the one going up there and testifying about the composition of the board.
I fully agree with you. Tell them that.
No, I don't think I should be the one testifying.
Well, tell them
Suppose I
that.
say something contrary to what the board
Did they invite to testify?
invited me.
Well,
But I'm just saying, I don't think it's appropriate for me
Well,
to tell them what the composition of the board should be on the board requirements.
I don't think I will last 10 minutes up there in front of them. Tell them the truth and they will probably,
Am I right?
they can't arrest me up there, right?
No.
Okay.
They can evict you, but
They can
they
evict
can't
me.
arrest you. The sergeant alone put you out.
And that's okay, 'cause what they're doing doesn't make any sense, and that's what I would tell them, and that would be the end of the report.
In a nice way.
Huh?
In a nice way.
How you say that? How you say something in a nice way? It doesn't make sense. All right.
Okay. Administrator's report. On November 22nd, I attended the Havenside Mall transition meeting. Also attended an executive meeting with VITEC. On November 25th, along with staff and the board, we attended a meeting with the governor, as the chairman stated. And that afternoon, we also attended an evidentiary hearing at the district court, GRS versus GVI. On November 27th, we met with the auditor to discuss services needed for the Havenside Mall. On December 12th, did have a site visit at Havenside Mall, the oversight committee, in regards to space for the management office, which we did find good space at the upper level of Building 3, where the site rental office was. On December 13th, we attended the annual Christmas and employee award ceremony. And on December 16th, we attended the Havenside Mall transition dinner. Regards to retiree applications, we still have 195 applications pending as of we speak. Majority of those applications are for this year that are still pending for either the majority of them are NOPAs, also probably employee contributions and also employer contributions bills. As you see, the refunds are climbing. We paid out from January through November overall $8.8 million in refunds. Of that $8.8 million, $8.3 million, 91% is non-vested members. Non-members that were not vested, which we consider regular, we paid out 8.3 of $8.8 million. So as you can see, non-vested members are leaving the system in droves. Debt benefits, we are moving along with getting our debt benefits out. We did 44 so far for this year, and we have at least 72 more to go. Life certificates, of the 110 life certificates, as you can see, 96 were validated, came in okay. 10 were suspended due to address change to GRS, 3 were terminated because of death certificate, and 1 for power of attorney. The math was cleared up. It's 110 instead of 116. As the chairman mentioned, the annuity payments are climbing. As of November 30, 2019, we have paid 8,669. We have,
Let's repeat that number.
as of November 30, 2019, our payroll count for retirees are 8,669 retirees. From October 1 through November 30th, we have paid out $42.4 million. From October through November 30th, we have added to the payroll 34. And we have deleted from the payroll for the same period 52 members because of their deceased. So our gross payroll for pay period is approximately $10.6 million every pay period. Our loans, personal loans, are decreasing. We do have 4,221.22 left and 95 mortgages. As far as operations, the White House, no issue to report on the White House, other than we are maintaining it as we speak. The Casino Commission building is 100% completed. We do need to paint that building. The St. Croix building, no major problems in the St. Croix building. Repairs have been completed. The fence is approximately 65% completed. We have also cleaned the air conditioning duct, which was completed. And continuing maintenance on that equipment, on the system. Our biggest problem obviously is the St. Thomas office complex. We are working on 2 projects right now. The exterior skin repair, which is a significant project that is being done. Also, we did select a AC contractor, and that is Central Air. We have submitted a letter to him informing him that he was selected as the contractor for the air conditioning system. Our leases, we are moving along with our leases. We did have a meeting with personnel. It was held on December 16th to iron out issues. and it's still pending. Department of Justice is also pending. Rescare, which is the federal job corps downstairs, we submitted pending a notice to quit. We plan to send them a notice to quit. Pleasant Ophthalmology, we renewed. St. Croix, also the entire Pleasant organization, the leases have been renewed. And the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority is current, and First Bank is also current. In regards to our rental and electricity, for November we collected $51,676.81 in rents. Electric, $79,855.70, for a total of $131,532.51. Year to date, we have collected $151,218.79. We do, as of November 30, 2019, we did have an arrearage, significant arrearage between rental and electric. However, those amounts have been paid up subsequent to 11/30/2019, received in December. Our major focus in the IT area is the VITEC V3 and our IT projects, which is shown as Appendix B. Very intensive, very lengthy. So the area of focus is the V3, VITEC V3, which has to do with software and also equipment, refurbishing and buying equipment, getting into the cloud. And the IT projects also is on page 3 of that report. The Time Clock Plus was completed. Training was done up through yesterday. Hope to go live with that, I guess, in January, end of January.
January 5th.
January 5th, to be exact. In regards to reconciliation and control, that's Appendix C. That's a major concerns to us, because we have a lot of outstanding data fixes and issues. We're working diligently. Things that slowed down in the last couple of months because of the malware issue that the VITEC experienced with their system. A virus had infiltrated there, so they couldn't talk to us. They didn't want to corrupt our system, so they have gotten that fixed. However, it's a slow process to get back into the mode that we were in regards to getting out. But we're working very diligently to get this done. Also, we're working on the census data that should be completed in January so that we can submit it to Siegel. Also, working with updating our postings through the end of December, the end of the year, so that we can issue our annual benefit statements for Tier 1 by February. There was a question that was asked in the last meeting by Dr. Cohen in regards to how many members, active members that we had. Central government currently has approximately, and this came from the Director of Personnel, 6,293. You know, it moves every day. Semi-autonomous agencies have about 1,972, for a total of actives about 8,265. Retirees, 8,669. So we have 8,265 actives, retirees 8,669. It's less than a 1-to-1. Okay?
And if that's as of what date?
As of right now, let's say current. I mean, as of yesterday, but things change every day. But I say, let's say approximately, with the actives 8,265, exact, retirees 8,669. And that is not going to change. I think it's going to get worse because of the resignation of non-vested in members. The governor did state at a meeting that I went to last week, he was speaking, he had a presentation. He said he has 2,000 vacancies out there. 2,000 vacancies, he said. So if we can get those 2,000 vacancies, I think it would increase our contribution significantly. So that's what he said. He has 2,000 vacancies and he wants a lot of people to, let their family knows who in the States to, apply for these positions so that they can have the young folks come back. And that would be very good for the GRS as far as contributions. So, 2,000 vacancies would increase that active to about 10,000 members. That's the way it was. I think back in the Turnbull administration, there was over 10,000 members. So we'll see what happens. That ends my report.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Nichols?
I got two. Sorry.
Sure.
For the refunds, you had 101 pending. Are those, because you have highlighted 101, those are ones that have yet to be processed or just waiting to pay out?
Well, it could be in progress. It could be waiting to pay out. So they're probably working on them.
So that's a definite additional. So that's not some that we may not have to pay.
No.
So-
Those were not included and completed. Those are not been paid. So it seems like it's gonna hit. We would have close to 700 about by the end of the year, I guess.
And a few
Close to-
more coming because I just had some resignations and
Really?
they weren't vested.
Good.
Yeah. With the V3 updates and upgrades and training, does that include the possibility of, when we talked about the systems communicating with GVI, with personnel, so we can get that all tied in?
I don't think so. I think that's something else.
That'll be something.
No.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, not, it does, this report does not address that.
So is that, because is that?
When you see communicating as far as the NOPAs,
Yeah, where we were able to, before that issue that we had,
Yeah.
starting another chance to possibly let it become electronic so we don't have to go through that.
yeah, I think we still could, but the problem was that when we started it, we started to get, the system got corrupted.
So with the
So,
upgrade, that's what when the upgrades have a way to filter it so we can start again.
It's a matter of just sitting down and doing a test. We need to probably do a test for maybe a few months to see how it works. But a lot of the information, data is the problem. Sometimes a lot of bad data go into the system, especially.
And it's consistent, the
Yeah,
inconsistency.
especially
is just-
social security numbers.
And start dates, because
start
we've had
dates.
a lot of situations with our teachers
Right.
having one start date and then the system has one thing and their documents have something different.
Right. Well, Trustee Clendenin just came in. For the record, Trustee Clendenin is present. And this is her baby. So maybe she can expound on how we can better merge our systems into one as far as getting electronic feed from personnel.
Ms. Clendenin, morning.
Good morning.
You know all the board members who are present?
I do not.
You do not. Trustee Attorney Maynard. Clendenin is our new board member and Director of Personnel. Scott Colwood. On St. Croix, we have Dr. Cohen.
Okay.
And I'm Wilbur Callen, the board chair. And Miles Wells.
We know everybody. She knows everybody.
She
knows everybody else.
So I'm gonna forget.
Denise Jeremiah, CFO. Kathy Smith, General Counsel, she knows.
Okay.
Austin Nibbs, Administrator.
Pedro Williams, Board Counsel.
This reminds you, Deputy General.
We didn't. What you say?
Who are you?
What you say?
Glenville
No, the other one.
No,
The one
lady
before
to your
you.
left.
Oh,
Oh, I was with Asia.
That's bigger sister?
Um,
Good guy. Lorraine Morton, Director of Communication and Member Education.
In reference to the systems.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
And we have
And you brought with you.
our consultant and
Makita is the firm. Gustavo Vegas Wagner, my name. Nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you. I brought with me my deputy director, Ms. Valsina Kwashi.
Adina
Valsina Kwashi.
Washi.
Quashie for the record.
And Ms. Castro is in
Yes.
the back.
Okay.
So if you could just tell me the question again, I'm sorry, I kind of worked.
Because you walked in the middle. A few years ago, the system was set up where the information could be fed or shared with personnel and GRS, where they were trying to match the NOPAs but I think what had happened is some of the information that came in was inconsistent to what was there, so it ended up becoming problematic. So it was stopped. So we were talking about the new upgrades to our IT system, and my question was, do those upgrades include a communication with GVI? And that's when you walked in.
Okay. I know we've been in communication with GRS as it pertains to our health benefit side so that we could make sure we're talking, but even that requires some upgrade on GBI's part and their part. As far as the NOPAs, we really need to do, before we can speak of merging information, we need to make sure our data is solid. And right now, I don't believe we are working to clean up a lot of our data. So in answer to your question, not at the moment, but we're happy to explore it. Anything that makes life more simple for both of us, we are happy to explore. Thank you.
That exhausts my questions.
Dr. Cohen, any questions for the administrator?
No, not at this time.
All right, thank you, sir. Committee reports.
Policy committee, no report.
The investment committee.
The medical review committee. On December 11th, the medical review committee met and voted to make a recommendation to the board to uphold the administrator's decision to deny the non-duty disability claim filed by Ms. Carmen Concepcion. The board should be making the final decision at the meeting to be held as soon as possible. Another duty disability case scheduled to be heard on the same evening was postponed due to the appellant's attorney not being able to get a flight from St. Croix to St. Thomas. Of course, that was seaborne. And this case will be rescheduled. Other budget committee, we just received the 2020 fiscal budget, and unfortunately, Mr. Ness, for some reason, I could not get it open on my.
Okay, well, we get your hard copy or you send it, I don't know why.
I tried on everything I had in the house.
Yeah.
You get yours open, you said? You didn't get it? Okay. Treasurer's report.
Good morning, Board Chair, other trustees. This is the government employees retirement system schedule of receipts and disbursements for the month ended November 30th, 2019. Receipts from collections, loan repayments, 1,719,189. Year to date, 3,599,545. Rent from tenants / utilities, 129,162. Year to date, $163,106. Rent from Haverside tenants, $494,846. Year-to-date, $949,356. Employer retirement contributions, $5,626,175. Year-to-date, $12,622,981. Employee retirement contributions, $3,236,071. Year-to-date, $7,358,701. Parking facility, $625. Year-to-date, $2,955. Miscellaneous, $448,509. Year-to-date, $643,112. For total collections of $11,654,578. Year-to-date, $25,339,756. Disbursements, annuity payments, $21,525,077. Year-to-date, $43,340,165. Administrative expenses, $819,595. Year-to-date, $2,439,329. Personal loans, $9,590. Year-to-date, $53,418. Mortgage loans, $31,124. Year-to-date, $51,368. Retiree loans, $1,660. Year-to-date, $8,187. Nothing for auto loans and land loans. Year-to-date, auto loans, $6. Refund of contributions, $1,211,282. Year-to-date, $2,225,619. Allotments to WICO/management fees, $16,872. Year-to-date, $16,872. Total disbursements, $23,615,200. Year-to-date, $48,134,964. For a net cash deficit of $11,960,622. Year-to-date, $22,795,208. That ends the reading.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Jeremiah. Trustees, questions, comments?
I don't have a question for Ms. Jeremiah right now because I actually found the answer to the question that I wrote. But same comment I've been making since I first came. When I compare the contributions to the annuities, I remember when I first came on and we were collecting between employee and employer 10 million and paying out 19 million. And I was like, it's almost the same. We almost double what we're paying, what we're collecting. This month we collected $8,862,246 between employer and employee contribution, and annuities were $21,525,000. That's $12,662,831 paid out than was collected. And so that difference has to come from somewhere. At the beginning, I talked about it was coming from the investment income from the air quotes bad investment that the board had made, but those bad investments were paying this difference. Now we don't have that investment income. It's coming now from what cash we have on hand. But the Senator Getting Government Daily is still pushing on giving out loans, and when we try to explain to them, you cannot give up cash on hand when you have to dig into your cash to pay this difference. I need somewhere for somebody who can explain it better, because they're not understanding it from the administrator. They didn't understand it from our advisors. They definitely didn't understand it from me. But somebody needs to explain to them that that difference in contributions to what's being paid out has to come from somewhere. So, I don't know, it's in our monthly newsletter, but do we need to just capture a screenshot and put it in the daily news or something so they can see it? Because they're not getting it. How do we address their inability to understand?
It's the election year.
Well, Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding that you'll accompany Mr. Nibbs when he goes to the legislature. And at that time, you'll explain in great detail what the solution is, and at the same time, propose an educational standard for those.
Mr. Nibb is a numbers person. Why would I go to?
Supposed to be like that.
I know.
That's not so?
It doesn't make sense for me to tell them what numbers. Mr. Nibbs is a numbers person. So, and I have not been invited.
What do I do? Crash? I like to crash.
So that you can know, since you brought it up, you're aware that they are removing the field of medicine from among the list of professions. And I hate to say this, and I don't mean any disrespect to anyone in here, any place. There's no profession that one has to stay in school longer than the medical profession. None. Okay? Even though, I know you're going to protest about teachers. They do spend some time there, but continuously, physicians spend a lot of time in school. How can they not be qualified? But you can put anybody else, and some people without any required education on the board. Doesn't make any sense. And I hope they're not removing this because me.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think the way to look at is that there's a medical review committee within the board. Can't have lay people on this medical, we'll have to go out and get all the doctors to come in to be consultants. So if someone is on the board who's in medicine, it is an asset.
It might be now, but you can't use it because, you may not have a physician on the board all the time. What you're suggesting that you need to have a physician on the board, no, you probably don't need to. But you should not eliminate physician from being a candidate. It just doesn't make sense.
This is a good conversation because I have a lot of things I want to say, but right now we need to finish with Ms. Jeremiah because that's going to be another lengthy part of this board meeting. But I want to capture Ms. Jeremiah's part.
Okay. Any other questions? Any questions from Ms. Jeremiah? No? All right, then we need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the Ms. Jeremiah's report. Treasurer's report.
Second.
Trustee Carwood.
Yes.
Trustee Cohen.
Yes.
Trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Maynard.
Yes.
Trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Smith, absent. Chairman Callan.
Yes.
The chair 4 yes, 3 absent.
Thank you. The treasurer's report has been approved. And Ms. Jeremiah, we apologize for interfering with your report. Investment officer's report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chair, other trustees. Update of the investment performance for the month of ending November 30th, 2019. The total plan was up slightly at 0.7%. Contributing to that performance, total equity returned 3.8% and was basically in line with its benchmark, which is the Russell 3000. Total fixed income was flat, the performance was flat for the month at 0.0 return, but it did outperform its benchmark slightly by 10 basis points. Total alternatives was up 0.9%, and the return underperformed its benchmark, which is the S&P 500 plus 300 basis points by 300 basis points. To note, the performance of the total alternatives excludes the member loans program, our office complexes, and also, well, our St. Croix and St. Thomas office complexes. As it relates to the cash flow activity for the month in the investment fund, we ended the month at approximately $607 million in assets. That number excludes the member loans program and also the St. Thomas and St. Croix office complexes. We raised no funds in the month of November, but we do plan to raise $25 million in the month of December to replenish or to bring our cash on hand back to our target levels. We are proposing funding from $15 million from the Russell 1000 growth portfolio and $10 million from the Russell 1000 value portfolio. So if we look at our activity for the 1 month, we had a beginning market value of about $602 million. We had a net cash flow of about $21,000. We had income of about $800,000. We had a gain of roughly $4 million in the portfolio that brought us to that ending market value of about $607 million. As it pertains to fees paid for the month, we paid $21,000 month to date. Those fees were for custodian bank fees. Calendar year to date, we've paid $722,000 in fees. And that consists of management fees of $469,000, consultant fees, investment consultant fees of $124,000, and custodian bank fees of $129,000. Fiscal year to date, fiscal year 2020, we've paid $94,000. That includes investment management fees of $42,000, investment consultant fees of approximately $31,000, and the custodian bank fees of $21,000. As it relates to securities lending, year to date, we have about $3,000 we've gained from that. I'd like to mention, of course, as everyone has been speaking, as you can see that the assets keep declining month over month. We had a slight gain this month, but overall, when we do factor in, I think we raised about $15 million last month from the portfolio. So, well, not October, yeah. So, and I'm assuming at some point in time, no, you will probably be coming again sometime. Not right now. So the assets continue. We keep continuing to have to draw assets to make up the shortfall to pay the notice. Mr. Chair, that's my report for.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Any comments? Dr. Cohen?
Just one observation. So we're going to drop below 600 million in assets come January.
That 600 million, as I mentioned, does not include the member loans program, the member loans program right now. And also, I think there's still an issue with reconciling on that and the office complexes, but if not, we're not going to be too far off.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So next?
No, calendar year to date, how much have we withdrawn from the portfolio?
Calendar year to date, if we add the draw that we did in October, we've withdrawn about $130 million
From the portfolio?
From the portfolio.
From January to present? Okay.
Plus you plan to withdraw 25 million this month.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said calendar? I'm sorry.
Yeah, calendar.
Okay, I don't have calendar numbers. Fiscal year, I know fiscal year 2019 we withdraw about 125 million.
Oh, okay.
Calendar year, I'm not sure, I don't have that number.
Okay,
I can
fiscal
get
year 100 and how much?
125 million.
Right, okay. That's good enough. That's through September.
Right.
But they talk about the bad investments.
Excuse me. All right, new business, approval of the 2020 board meeting calendar. Trustees, this calendar was sent to us. Have it in your file, it's just the dates of the business meeting. One has it. January 17th, February 27th, March 26th,
Fourth Thursday.
the fourth Thursday, until, well, we get to July, and there's none there because we have a planned retreat in July. And in
November and December.
November International Foundation meeting will be going on that week. So the proposed date would be Monday, November 30th. Unless somebody has some other date that he or she thinks will be better. Right. The fourth is Thanksgiving Day, the fourth Thursday. And then December, the fourth Thursday is Christmas Eve. So you would have it on third Thursday then on December.
You need to change the June meeting from the third week that comes to the NAPWEL conference. I don't know if Kathy or Myers are planning.
I know Myers is definitely home.
Change it to 18.
Anyone has any problem? Trying to assist the council, since we need them present for June 18th instead of the 25th.
27th.
Instead of the
18th.
Huh?
Instead of the 25th, yeah, I'm sorry.
June 18th.
Because the calendar says the 25th, but then the
Yes.
wording says, well,
What is it?
wording says the 27th.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
So it's saying, or for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why.
All right. 25th.
You talk about having two meetings in the boy for the year, or something like that.
Well, we'll adjust that. We may be so broke, we probably won't have to go anyplace.
You don't ever go. You never go. No.
Any questions about June 18th? I want to make a
Attorney
point
Miller?
that, you know, these meetings are being scheduled way in advance, so try and make your plans and try and work around. I know all of you are not retired, and I'm sure you will have obligations, but see if we can stick to this calendar as closely as we can. Okay. So we need to vote. Need a motion?
The calendar is amended.
I'll make a motion to accept it as corrected, the calendar.
Need a second? Need a second?
Second, sorry.
Call.
Trustee Colwood,
Yes.
trustee Cohen,
Yes.
trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Maynard,
Yes.
trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Smith, absent. Chairman Callender,
Yes.
chair 4 yes, 3 absent.
Okay, the calendar, board meeting calendar has been approved with the changes for 2020. Investment update by Nikita Investment Group.
Look at you.
Hey.
Good morning.
One second, do we need to do this, we don't need to do this. This is it.
That's okay, they can see you because the camera, you can sit there because the camera will hit them from the back.
Is that right?
Yeah, they'll be able to see you. There's a camera there in the back.
How you doing?
There's a camera.
No, schools and stuff, that's just internal for us.
Oh, they're not, the camera's not
This is
showing?
what it just fills in the internal.
I stay here so I don't give you my back.
That's okay. That's good.
Good, sir.
Ready? Good morning, everyone.
Morning, sir.
Great to be here back again. First, need to apologize because we couldn't make it on our November. What was it? No, November, December 11th or November 11th, December 11th meeting. It was one of those rare occasions in which the three of us were in different client meetings in different parts of the country, and it coincided with exactly the only days that we said in advance to Mr. Henderson that we couldn't make it. So thanks for accommodating and give us 30 minutes or so today. I would like to start, if you know, I hope that you all have the electronic version. I understand that everyone has it. On that report, if you can go to page 42. The page is an explanation of the fees that the system pays. Adding to the comments of Mr. Henderson, these are the manager fees, so this does not include custodian fees or Mekida's fees. Even adding that, if we add Mekida's and custodian fees, this will go up to 8-9 basis points. The average of the industry is around between 42 and 46 basis points. We are at, so all included, at 8. So this is the stuff that we can control. We cannot control how the markets are doing. We cannot control if, you know, we are receiving any extra funding or not. But this is one of the few things that we can control, which is expenses. We are around 40 basis points cheaper than any other system, than the average system in the country. All right? So this is stuff that we can control and we're doing. The other thing that we can control is risk. And we have been doing that since 2015 when we decided to move into dynamic asset allocation because we saw, given our actuarial forecast, that the system was going to be running out of money in 3-4 more years. So we decided to reduce the risk, making sure that we have assets in liquid assets to pay benefits, and that we have in a type of asset that a market that it was December of 2018 actually, the system was able to navigate it beautifully. Actually, we didn't have a negative performance that month. Everyone else in the country had a negative performance. So that's what we're preparing for. On the other side, if we prepare the system for that, we cannot expect, you know, when the markets go up 29% as they have this year, actually, to move within that range. Because I wish we could, but it's an impossible balance. So this is the stuff that the two things that we really can control are expenses and risk, and we are doing a pretty good job. This is not forecast. This is 8 basis points. This is fact. All right. If someone is asking you a question, we're like around 40 basis points cheaper than the average plan in the country. Period. That's a fact. I will ask you to go back to page 6, if you don't mind, and let's talk a little bit what's going on. I think just to give some context of the numbers are coming later. So this, you have a picture here of what happened year to date in 2019 and what happened in the third quarter. Two very distinct pictures. The year to date 2019 is very similar to what's going on up to yesterday. Everyone is happy. all the asset classes are positive. There's no negative in the markets. Everything is moving. As of yesterday, the U.S. stock was up almost 30%, 29%. Bonds up almost 9%. Right? So nothing seems to move the market. The market's just continue moving forward. The third quarter, though, on that chart was a little bit different from what happened year to date. And the fact is that one of the biggest movers of the market, that is trade tensions and interest rates, that play out during third quarter. So that kind of moved the markets in a different direction. And this is exactly why we cannot just assume that we will keep growing for the rest of the life and actually not prepare the pension system for a quarter that it was, or the last quarter of 2018, or the third quarter in which most of the asset classes moving. So the system is prepared for those things, which is exactly, we don't want to have the need to take money out of the system when that specific asset class is down. We want it to get it when it's stable or up. Page 7, we heard about, the PMI, or the Global Manufacturing Index, and how that is affecting the markets, and how that is that is in decline. That has been in decline for a while, for years. And in fact, it has to do with, the U.S. market actually definitely moving almost 100% into the services market. And that is a reflection of that. However, we do see, if you see that chart, at the end of that chart is a little bit of an uptick. So even though all those comments and all that, the PMI actually started to move back. That means that some of the CEOs in the manufacturing industry are just putting money back to work. So they are seeing some positives. The next page, page 8, is what everyone talks about, the U.S. yield curve. It is inverse, it's not. It is inverse for 24 hours and it comes back again. And this is moved by the expectations in the long term, in the short term, and in the long term, what the Fed is doing. Basically, what it is today is not inverted. Everyone is saying that the inverted yield it's usually an anticipation of a recession, which has been historically true. But that what is not said is that has to elongate for a certain period of time, and no one can assess what that period of time is. It can be inverse for 6 months, and you will be out of the market expecting a recession that is not coming. And if you're waiting 6 months, then for 3 months it's going back again to the stage that it is today. That is not inverse, but that is where it should be. So today is kind of flat. It's very difficult for a bond manager to try to position in duration to make money. But that's the way it is. So no bad news in the yield curve. No bad news, honestly, on the PMI. If we flip to page 9, that is the best news in the U.S. market. That is the U.S. consumer. The U.S. consumer is the consumer's confidence. It's up in historic highs and continues to be there. Arguments towards it. Low interest rates. People are refinancing their mortgages, or they are taking new mortgages at low rates. Their 401ks are doing great because the stock market is up 30%. So everyone feels that. Feels that it has more money, right? And so U.S. consumer is going up, and U.S. consumer is actually around 30-40% of the GDP growth. So it's a big chunk of it. So U.S. consumer continues to grow. Then the next page, page 10, is the other component of the whole macro variables that is helping. That is, what the central banks are doing. Lowering interest rates. They're pumping money into the market. As an economist, you can argue that in the long term it's not good, but in the short term it's actually pumping liquidity into the markets, which means that people have more money to spend. Or supposedly. yesterday actually Sweden was the first country in the European Union that is actually going back to positive yields, meaning that if you put money in the bank in euro, you have to pay the bank to leave your money there, so they're paying negative interest rates. Sweden is the first country in the European Union that's actually reversing that, saying no, in the long term this is not going to work. So we're going back to at least flat, but raise the interest. So when you see that, if you put money in a bank in Germany, right, you have to pay the bank for keep your money. When US a 10-year bond is giving like what is 1.8, 1.9. I take it, right? That's why all the money from abroad is flowing into the US bonds, just because we say 1.9 is not bad. That's nice, a lot better than -2. So for sure, for sure. So when you put all these variables together, right? Plus 2020 election year, historically election years have been good for the market. You start seeing what you see in page 11, that is like all the recession fears. These are charts that kind of try to explain recession fears and recession indicators. Moving out of favor, meaning that a recession is not in the looks in the short term for the market in general. So while we had some conversations at the beginning of the year after a horrible December of 2018, hopefully we can hold on this December. We still have a couple of days to go, and actually going into 2020 in a positive territory, which means, honestly speaking, means that we somehow have some relief that if the economy is growing, then we can still think about hopes in which how to get an influx of money into the system. In terms of the system in general, you heard Mr. Henderson, 140 million dollars out of the system every year, and at $600 million, even on the liquid stuff we have like 540. That means that we will need to put up like 25% every year into investment returns just to be break even. I think that the only one who signed up for a task like that would be like Bernie Madoff, and he's behind bars. So, even though the stock market's all that at the level that need to be just break even, it's an impossible task, unfortunately. All right, so that's the market. The market is good news. The performance as well. Let me ask you to please click into, this is some cash flows first. Page 30. All these numbers are the money that went in and out of each of the investments that we have in the fund. Basically, if you do contributions of 241 plus withdrawals of 320, the contributions are a mix of moving assets from one side to the other, getting contributions from the government and from the sale of some of our alternatives and blah blah blah. Plus the withdrawals, you have there the 100 and something difference in contributions and withdrawal. This is fiscal year. Fiscal year, this is as of September 30. In investment change, actually, the system actually made around $26 million, which is absolutely not bad. It's a 5.25% rate of return. When you see that this includes December of 2018, which was an absolute disaster for everyone. This 5.25, I would say 85% of the US pension plans out there as of September 30, they will switch it with you without a doubt, because they had a December of -10, -12. So that screwed up the whole fiscal year for the majority of the systems. So 5.25 for the fiscal year. So let me ask you to flip to page 34 first, which is this nice graph. You know, we just finished in Miami, the Art Basel, but you see that? You saw that a banana stuck on the wall was sold by $120,000.
Yeah.
See that?
Okay, nonsense.
Amazing, huh? So I think that this chart in page 24 actually it's a lot more work than that banana stuck on the wall. You should be selling this by 250,000 at least, right?
You know?
Yeah. Basically, you know, each of the different colors means a different aggregate asset class. For example, the first one on the top, on that pinkish, is the U.S. equities. As you see, from 2016 to date, how that has been decreasing. At the same moment, you know, international equities, we're out 100%. Then the next one, the greenish, is the U.S. fixed income, which that is increasing, and that's the one that will increase the most, jointly with cash. And then the rest are foreign bonds that we're out of it this year. We terminated the last manager there. And then we have the alternative investments, that here it means just the investment that we have in Mesero, and those that are actually giving us not only a nice return, but also good distributions. So we are unwinding those distributions. In the next 3-4 years, we will be hopefully getting all the money back. So that worked out well. So basically, in a year from now, you will see here what is left in alternatives, bonds, and cash by the end of 2020. Which means that we are totally in line with the plans that we had of having 2 years. No, the projection from the actuary is like 2023, 2024 is that we're going to be. So we need to have all the assets at least 2 years before that in liquid, non-risky assets. That is the plan of a dynamic allocation, and we are actually doing as we planned. Hopefully, in the middle of that, we receive $1 billion from somewhere, and we can redo the asset allocation as we had it before. But
Your lips to God's ears.
until that doesn't happen, we will end up having bonds and cash starting fiscal year 2021. That's the plan, and that's the prudent thing to do. Anything else is the same as putting your money in a casino. All right. So, page 35, which it is the performance of the different asset classes, which this has less and less meaning as soon as we are moving forward, because we only have cash and bonds. But if you see the 1, 2, 3, the third column, quarter to date 1.4, year to date, this is actually 2019. See, 9.1.
Yeah.
Not bad, huh? The fiscal year we touched about it, 5.2. Go all the way to back down. Since inception, 8.9%. You're a case study. No, seriously. There's
That's
some,
better than
you know,
most.
I have some clients in common with Bob Clausen, and he sometimes in board meetings, you know, brings the Virgin Islands. That's you know, that's one of the funds that is it had low funding ratio. And so when I am in that meeting, I ask the board, give a guess what was the annual investment return since inception for a fund that is only like around 30% fund. No one guessed that number, because it's unreal thinking that having almost 9% per year since inception. This is 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. Every 6 years you're doubling the money, and still you're 30% fund.
Because that happens when we go to our meetings and they're like, our investment returns are so good, but they're like, what's your funding ratio? And I'm like, 40%. You know, you're like, 40%. They're like, how, you know, imagine what we could have done if we had funding.
Of course.
What ratio will you say quoting them?
Hmm?
What ratio will you quoting them?
40%.
It's 20 something.
But that was then.
Oh.
Remember, that was then.
Oh.
That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago when we were at 40%, when we started, when we went on, it was like 47, we went under 50%. Now I don't even tell them. I said, you don't want to know. That's all I said, you don't want to
Just
know.
say 8.9% since inception. Honesty is a case study, which means, we always say this to the clients, and you are living through the experience, so you see, but we always say to the clients, listen, investment returns are a nice plus, but that shouldn't be the core driver. It's contributions. It's period. Without contributions, whatever investment return is contribution. If not, we transform it into a 401k, right? People just leave there the minimum that they can, and they just hope that investment will make up for their retirement, and we end up what we have now in the United States. That is, I believe that's 75 to 90% of the people over 55 years old have only $55,000 in savings for retirement. That's the next big bomb. That and personally, climate change, those are the two big risks that we're facing. So, from the investment performance, not just from performance, but from an investment perspective, honestly, there's nothing else that we can do. Just continue doing what we've done, de-risking the portfolio. And if you ask me to, all right, now if just put everything in equities because the equities were 20% up this year, we'll probably resign because that's an imprudent thing to do. Without a doubt.
A good market time, Gustav.
Yes. That would be like, it's absurd. That will get you in front of the judge, that's for sure. and not as an expert witness. Like bad advice. So no, definitely we'll continue doing the same. Any questions on the performance? Sir?
I just want to know if the inverse is still true. When stocks go down, the
The inverse, I'm sorry, the inverse is true.
I just want to know if the inverse is still true. When the stocks go down, the fixed income interest rates go up. That's still true or not?
Yes and no. In theory, yes. That's why we have a diversified portfolio, right? We have bonds going up when the stock goes down. 2008 told us that when it really goes down, everything goes down. There's correlation of everything going down. The same happened in December 2018 when everything just went down. Big corrections, everything goes down. Now, if you see it within a month, 2 or 3 months, then they started to move back again to reversing to the mean. So, but there's also an argument that all these central banks pumping money, keeping interest rate at zero and all that has affected the way the fixed income market reacts. So that's why there are some new strategies that we are talking with, some clients that have enough assets and they have sophisticated staff that can really understand that as well. That they are like risk mitigating strategies. It's a mix of long-term treasuries and some hedge funds that mimic different stages of the market, momentum trending, trail trending, this and that. I'm putting a mix of that is like totally uncorrelated. When you put that all together, that is totally uncorrelated to whatever happens. So if your equities and your bonds go down, the whole portfolio will go down, but at least you're saving a little piece. So when you come back, then in fact you're probably better than your peers. That's the whole purpose. But so in theory, yes. In practice, it's not happening. Any further questions in terms of performance? No? Let me start on page 66. This is the study that we do every time that we're starting a new fiscal year. That is the new projections of the dynamic asset allocation. That chart is showing each of the different aggregate asset classes since we started with the program at around 2016. The gray part of the chart is what happened already. the right-hand side of the chart is the projections. So what you see there is what we saw on the other charts. It's like, we are out of EM equities, which is the first line. We are out of international equities, which is the second line. And at some point in 2020, we'll be out of US equities in general. The one that is going up is gas, fixed income, and cash. And the one that is steady there, and it's steady in the future because it's difficult to forecast, is what is your alternative assets. This includes the Mesiroga, but also here we have the loans and all the other assets that the system owns. With some of them, they're not mark to market. It's difficult to project. Some of the ones that we can project, like loan repayment and all that, is included here, but the rest we can't, so it's kind of steady there. And we hopefully go down market. So by around 2023, 2024, we will have no more liquid assets. We just will have the portion of the alternative assets. Unless someone give us $1 billion. Similar information, a different way of looking at it, page 67. The gray part of it is 18 and 19, and the other are the projections. These are the dollar amounts that are projected to be in each of the different asset classes. You see that we only leave in two, that is fixed income plus cash, which is the green one, and then the alternative and local assets. I'm not going to spend time on page 68 because there are long numbers, and there are nice charts in page 69 which corresponds to that. This is to show you the waterfall of the cash flows during the fiscal year 2019. We draw 63 from domestic equity. We increase a little bit the fixed income bucket. We draw 67 from the local assets, and we draw 24 from cash. The next page, 70. This is a comparison of where we ended up fiscal year 2019, which is the magenta color, compared to what should be what we projected on the light blue. Pretty good shape, good projection. The only one that is out of scale is the alternative and local assets, because there's nothing we can do there. As soon as we keep on selling those assets, we're coming down. The page 70, 71, and 71, 72, and 73 are the projections for 2020. We keep projecting the 140 as outflows, page 71, as our actuary is showing us. We are usually, last year was like 134, fiscal year 125, 134, so we are around that. Hopefully it's less. And this is where we are projecting that those cash flows will be coming from. As you see, we will be redeeming 100% of the equities by the end of fiscal year 2020. It's a graphical chart of that in page 72. This is where we're projecting that we're getting money out to pay the $140 million. And page 73, it is the projections and where we will be. So the projections is saying that if the end of the fund is around 2024, we should have 420 in fixed income and cash. And our projections, I think we will be ballpark there, 410. And it's telling us that we should have 0 in alternative and local assets, and we will still have around 160. There's not much we can do there unless we start selling more of the local assets. So we will continue with the moving forward with the program. The market has been helping us, honestly speaking, because having 9% return as we have now with only 17% in equities, it's fabulous. Plus, during the last 5 years since we started this program, active managers, so I mean all the managers that we have, they've been having a horrible last 5 years when you compare to an index. So the place to be has been index funds. So we were lucky that we are an index fund. So we were lucky in a lot of aspects on the investment side. But still, there's nothing we can do about this. Any questions on the DIA? Always we work closely with staff, making sure with Mr. Henderson, there are cash needs where we're taking off, how we changed our view. For that, we use what is on page 77, that is the projection of where we'll be getting those $140 million out of during the rest of the year. That first column that you see, the two red, there is what Mr. Henderson just referred a few minutes ago. Where is he getting the money out of to pay? Hopefully, we get $1 billion in the middle and we have to change this.
Hey, we can all dream.
Yeah.
Pray. We can hope.
I think this is the one that do we need a motion here on the sources and uses to get this or no? I don't remember that. No?
Because we did that already.
No? I don't remember that. I do with some friends, but I don't know, so I don't. That's all right.
We haven't made any changes.
These are the new projections for the
There's a
fiscal year
con-
2020.
There's a continuation of our.
It's the same thing.
Or
Yeah.
we wouldn't need
Same.
that. It's a continuation.
All right. There's no further questions. I have one more item. Back in around, I don't exactly remember when, in 2016, Mr. Thomas was still around. And we sent him a review of the IPS. All paragraph. Making sure that when we, in 2017, really started moving the ranges, right, of equities, they can go 25 all the way to 0. Those comments are incorporated into the IPS. I asked Mr. Henderson a couple of months ago, the usual review that we do on the IPS every once in a while, and I haven't seen those changes incorporated. So I added that on your packet. It's on page
82.
90,
For reference,
91.
For reference, trustees, it was discussed in the investment committee meeting the other day.
91. Basically, if you remember in this section in the IPS, it just tells you, this asset class should be at around this range, this asset class around. Basically, what we did is we added a little bit of verbiage saying that because we are in a dynamic asset allocation, these targets are moving. And basically, we're saying all these targets can go all the way down to 0. That's basically, we consider that should be definitely incorporated to the IPS. We thought it was, honestly speaking, sent it back in 2016. Glad that I asked the question a few months ago. Somehow it got just fall into the cracks, I'm guessing, between his departure and. So I don't know the process for it. If you need to vote, if Pedro needs to review it, or Kathy, but
Well, it was discussed in the investment committee
Okay.
meeting. So what I would recommend is that the board, a motion be made to accept if the board, I don't think we had any disagreement with it in the investment committee meeting.
No, I don't think so. We did. Well, I can't. No, I don't think any of the trustees had an issue with it, if I recall.
I think
More present.
what we just doing is, doing something that should have been done.
yes, we honestly assumed that was done when we sent it.
So we updating the IPS.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. Actually, we're not making any changes for the future. We're making changes of what has happened already.
On you just changing the range or the target, I thought you said you had some language.
I think that we have some language due to the current funding status of the system. That is new, Pedro. The board has implemented dynamic asset allocation targets.
I mean, the whole language that's on page 91
Yes,
above the chart.
yes. The annually down, I believe that was what was already there. What we added was the dynamic. It's a little bit of an explanation of what dynamic asset allocation is. I don't think that has a lot of relevance other than informational. What it really matters is it's the range, Pedro. So, if, without changing any language, if we change the range, it's fine as well.
This is something we should not.
Yeah.
This we have to move.
Actually, I think
But
this
we
is.
did the,
I think Mr. Ellis is saying we need to adopt the new ranges.
Right,
Prior to-
right.
In
As
order to
Gustavo
be
said, it's
consistent with-
important that we encompass
the
the
new
new
numbers.
targets, establishing the ranges.
Yeah. Basically, are the same type of assets. We didn't change that at all.
Correct.
Just the numbers.
The ranges. I mean, the targets. When you have these ranges, then the target doesn't really matter because you have a target, but you can go all the way down to zero.
So, exactly.
Just to accept the recommendation, the target allocation that's contained on page 91 in its report.
Recommendation for the adjustment of the range.
To adopt the target.
Allocation.
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the McKee's recommendation to adopt the target recommendation, the target allocation on page 91 of the report. Presentation.
Okay, I'll second that.
Trustee Colwood,
Yes.
trustee Cohen,
Yes.
trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Maynard,
Yes.
Get everything else.
trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Smith, absent. Chairman Callender,
Yes.
the chair, 4 yes, 3 absent.
Good. All right. The only item that I would like to share with you is a little bit of a status of our firm. We continue to grow. We are around 200 in terms of personnel. We are around 200 accounts, but we are close to $1.4 trillion in assets under advisory. We can take one.
So that's one of-
Can we get some transfer
If we
from?
don't- if we can only touch that amount of money, we just advise.
Can we get?
That's
can we-
one account for each employee.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
Have one
I
of
mean,
those other
it
clients
has been,
donate.
the growth has been basically, it's pretty much organic, but the difference in the number of assets under advisory has been driven by the big plans, right? Masters, Scalpers, Ulcers, Chicago Eye, ESP, all those big plans that we are now working with. The structure of the firm continues to be the same, managed by a couple of us that happen to be lucky to be shareholders, and so our Miami office is growing as well. We are going to be 5 shortly already. All good. A lot of work though, but it's a good thing.
You may actually get vacation time.
That's what partners do. They work.
And your staff is growing. You may get some
I was
time.
telling Mr. Henderson, but this is my last trip, but then I have another board meeting on the 6th, another on the 16th, then a trip on the 22nd, and it's just already filling up. Good.
Any questions for Mr. Adams?
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
During your visits to, do you find boards with a great number of professional trustees? Yes, you do?
No.
You do not?
No, it really varies. There's no standard. The only standard is that you hire experts. That you hire, of course, you hire your custodian, you have your managers to manage your money, your investment manager. You hire your custodian to be the custodian of your money. You hire your investment manager to advise you in the decisions on the investment. You shouldn't be savvy on investments to be part of the board. That's how the governance of the board. I mean, you have Pedro that advises you on the legal stuff. It's the same. It's why we are service providers, because you don't need to have all that. It would be unreasonable to ask a board to have all the expertise necessary. It would not be prudent.
He needs to go, not me. Thank you, sir.
Now, saying that, there are some boards that have, right?
Right.
Yeah, there are some boards that are, everyone is an investment manager, everyone. Honestly speaking,
Those are the worst
the
meetings.
governance of that is a mess.
They're the worst, but
It's a mess, because all these big personalities, and they would never agree upon each other. So, I would not be happy if I have another client like that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Well,
All right. Anytime. Hey. We have an investment policy statement change? That was what it was. I was wondering, I was going to ask you,
That's
what
what
was the
we just
difference between what you were, okay.
Right, that's
That's what
exactly
it
what
is.
you're going to.
And I thank you because many times we use this term, dynamic asset allocation. I don't think the people we're speaking to really understand what it's all about. And so I'm glad for this definition also. Okay. All right, we need to change the secretary of Sunshine Fund account from Ms. Trumbull to Ms. Denham-Gums.
No, we missed number 4.
You missed something? I missed something? Oh, to amend the language in personal policy to clarify grace period. Okay. What's it all about? Huh?
Good morning, trustees. Last year, the GERS personnel handbook was updated and approved by the board. In the language in that personnel policy, it gave an expressed grace period of 15 minutes per day per staff, which equates to 62 hours of free time every year. According to the contracts, after any applicable grace period, the GRS is not to dock any employee 29 minutes or less, and anything over 29 minutes, we should use annual leave or something like that, some other paid leave. The New Time Clock Plus we are implemented also incorporates the language in the contract. The purpose of this revision of the language is to keep in line with the contracts and our cloud-based Time Clock Plus system, stipulating that work is from 8 to 5, and after any applicable grace period, which the manager may give if something happens, the employees will be docked according to the contract. Not that you have one every single day and 8:15 becomes your new reporting time as it's happening. Thank you.
Trustee, you understand?
stuff. I'm burping. I'm gonna spell it for
Are
you.
you reading it?
I read it already.
You understand it?
Yeah.
So what you can do about it? What do we need?
1, 2.
Well, Lee,
If I may weigh in. I just saw this morning for the first time, but if I'm understanding what Mr. Denon is saying, the change would move from a specific designated or delineated 15-minute grace period, and it will now vest that as a discretion within the GRS, or I assume some manager within the GRS system. Which means, I'm assuming each manager will determine whether or not an employee benefits from that 15-minute, from some grace period on a, whenever they're late.
If, according to the CBAs, if after any applicable grace period, if any applicable, gives that discretion already to management. If something happens, it's not habitual, it doesn't become your new reporting time. If something happens, yes, managers have the discretion to manage. That if something happens, they can impart that upon the employee. What it cannot become is a daily new occurrence. Again,
We have a flat
it's in line with the CBA. It says unless specifically stated differently in our two contracts, which it doesn't. It grants a grace. We don't want to be so hard and fast that nothing will ever happen in the morning. Then you're coming in, but if something's happening every day for 10 years, then something else needs to be done. But we don't want to cut it off hard and fast because things happen. We understand that. We want to balance life and work. We don't want to be taken advantage of as if that becomes your new reporting time. So any CBA issues, it clears that, saying unless specifically different in a CBA, but this is our overall policy.
You need more time in the policy committee to go through this, maybe? Because it appears that, not,
There was no legal challenges to the clarification.
I'm sorry?
Would there be any legal challenges to the clarification?
I don't know if there
Because-
are gonna be legal challenges. I can't speak to what the union or somebody else may do. But my thought of it is that it makes it so much more subjective.
That's precisely my
An employee
objection
knows
to
that
the
I have
language
15
here.
minutes grace period. Next, if you adopt this, an employee doesn't know that, and it's up to a manager to determine whether or not, and the
handbook
manager
says
may
it.
do it for some employees and not for others. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but I'm saying one could certainly read it that way. And what this does, it just makes it so much more subjective from my review of the language.
Mr. Chairman, that's precisely what I was gonna say, because what is excessive tardiness to one manager may not be excessive tardiness to another. And what constitutes an abuse of the grace period for one manager may not necessarily be the same for another. So I think those terms should be reduced to some numerical situation or to a more specific wording in order for them to be effective or reduce the chances of there being challenged.
Can Ms. Jeremiah explain something? Go ahead.
With the time clock and the way it's set up based on the rules, the union contracts. The union contract said after 29 minutes, when you hit 30 minutes, then you can be charged. With it up to the 29 minutes, there's no charge. That's your grace period. Hence, the clock is set up just like that to reflect what the union contracts are saying. So it's not based on what the manager thinks, it's all based on the rules of the contracts.
So it takes the subjectivity out of it.
It takes that out.
So then, is this language intended to say that the GRS could grant additional grace period if an employee is late for more than 29 minutes? Because that's the only difference I would see based on your explanation. It seems, what I'm understanding you to say is that the time clock is set up that if I come at 8:27, I'm not docked. If I come at 8:27 every day, I won't be docked.
No,
be
not
done.
2 weeks. No,
It's over
it's
2
three-
weeks.
in 2 weeks period. You have 29 minutes every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
If you read the first paragraph you can read it to say that you get 15 minutes per day. Correction will be 29 minutes every pay period, which is every 2 weeks. So if you come in 15 minutes one day, you're okay. If you come in 15 minutes late the next day, you're docked. You're going to be docked at least 1 minute.
All right, so the second language makes it more.
It brings it in line with the 2 union contracts.
If you look at the top one, you approved the top one, it's already approved. So the language about excessive tardiness, it's already approved. That's what's in there today. All we're taking out is the first sentence that says you have that every day 50 minutes.
Yes.
So if the board has alternative language that just takes out the understanding that you don't have 15 minutes to come every day, so your time is 8:50 now, we're amenable to that. Just bear in mind it was already approved, this language, I just took out the first
All right,
sentence or so.
But again, all this amendment does, it says that you can't be late for more than the 29 minutes for more than a certain amount of time, the 2
That's
weeks.
it, that's it. 2 weeks
Right,
period.
so that's what I'm saying, is that whereas an employee knew that they had this 15 minutes grace period and they may quote unquote take advantage of it, you're now preventing them from doing that.
Actually, it was just a misunderstanding of.
That's not a mistake. That's what was
But
happening.
technically, yes, Pedro, under
That's
the
what I'm
old
saying,
language,
that's-
somebody could come 15 minutes late
Every single day,
So you're-
and now
now
won't
you're
be able
changing
to
that.
do that without
I'm
getting
The
done.
manager to-
No,
if
I
they were
agree.
abusing it.
I agree, but
The
We're
manager
not-
still had a discretion if they
We're
were.
not debating whether it was an abuse or not. All we're saying is what's the real practical impact of this change, and that's what it is. You're now saying we're limiting how much time you could come in late in any
right.
2 week
period.
period.
So it's
Pay
just
period, yeah.
coincides.
I just want to make sure the trustees understand what
Yeah.
we're doing.
It's coinciding with the union contract.
The contract said it
So
right.
it's good, now they're gonna match.
So that's what the union contract says?
Yes.
Yes.
It
Yes.
does.
Yeah, but the language already says unless specifically stated differently in the collective bargaining agreement. So if that's what the contract says, it's already covered under the existing language, so there's no need to change it.
In the policy, we need to put it in the
no,
policy.
We need to
We put it in the handbook.
Why?
Because you could have a negotiations later on and you change that language in the union contracts. And so that's why you put that language in there, in case you negotiate
So
something
if you change it
different.
in a union contract, it's still applicable, because your policy says unless specifically stated
No, that's
differently.
what they're changing it to.
No, that's in the existing language, and that's in the proposed language, the very first line. It says the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. If the CBA says something differently, it is the CBA language that will control.
Exactly, but we're just changing the language because it's already existing. The top language is in the policy, so we need to change it to match.
No, you don't. I don't see it. I
The only
really
type
don't
of
see it.
employees we have.
We have
Yeah.
exempt
We
employees.
have other employees, support staff exempt.
The only thing that this amendment, this change does is limit the amount of time. I mean, and that may be what you want to do. All I'm saying is that let's be clear in terms of what we are doing. If that's the position of the board, that's fine. But I just don't want the board to be misled in terms of, or misunderstand what the practical effect of this change is. To me, that's the only thing you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's call a spade a
Mr.
spade.
Nibs, as you asked the question before, policy committee will have to have
Well,
some more
it
conversation.
goes into effect January 5th,
What goes into
What
as
goes
far as
in-
the time clock. The new time clock.
But it's already in the union contract,
Contract.
so
We just want the employees to know.
we just need to change it in the handbook to coincide with the union contracts.
But why do we need, why can't you all make
Let me
it
see
clear
what the
to
union
us
contract says.
here, so we can just, we can make a decision today?
It's Tony Williams.
But we can't.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I'm not,
What is unclear? What, may I ask, what specifically is unclear?
nothing is unclear. I want to make sure that nothing's unclear to me. I haven't made a decision yet. I'm trying to find out, you are trying to limit employees to being late no more than 29 minutes every 2 weeks. Is that what you're trying to do?
Right, so.
Yes, yes? So they can't come, so if they come, if they come late 15 minutes on Monday, it's okay. But if they come late 15 minutes on Tuesday, that is not okay. Is that what you're trying to do?
Correct. And one other thing, the intent is to remove the language in our first statement that says all employees have 15 minutes to arrive to work late every day. That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, okay, okay.
We're expressly giving permission that every single day you could arrive. That's what the old says. That's all I'm trying to remove. That every day you can arrive to work. It's not okay for every day. We're giving you permission to do that. We just want to take that out, that's all.
Well, that's not quite
And technically that,
accurate,
it
Ms.
doesn't say
Benedict.
they, because
Yeah.
it does state that they only have 29, but the first
No,
sentence.
hold on, wait,
I'm so sorry.
I'm talking about the old one.
Yeah.
Oh, but again, even, ready?
Hold on, give me a second.
We're gonna fix this today. We're not going back to any policy committee. We need this done. This should be simple.
Okay. I was just talking about the old one, attorney, just the old one, not the new one, the old one. So if the language in the new one doesn't capture what I just said, we could change it now. I'm just saying, the old one expressly says, unless specifically stated in the CBA, and not all employees are covered by a CBA, and then it says all employees may arrive to work 15 minutes late. So we're expressly giving you that permission to do that. But that's okay, that your workday every day can start at 8:15. We said it's okay. All we're saying is, that's not okay. Your CBA says one thing, and for everybody else, come to work when you reporting. Anything excessive charge, whatever, your manager has discretion. That's what, you always have discretion. We don't put a time limit. The time limit is there because the union contract says we can't dock unless you hit that 30-minute mark. That's where that time frame comes in their contract. But truly, the intent was just to get rid of that sentence that says it's okay to come at 8:15 every day. So however we could do the new language, if it needs to just be worded, to say that, we could do that right now, but that was the intent. Because the old does say that.
Attorney Maynard?
Well, what I was questioning is why couldn't we specifically refer to the terms of the contract itself?
Everybody doesn't have a contract.
Remember, this is for all employees.
Everybody doesn't have a contract.
In jail.
All of their employees are not unionized.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So you still have to
Yeah,
go
the point,
for
you
the
understand what they're trying to achieve?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So we don't need the proper language.
Because what I was gonna say is if, assuming that, everyone had a contract, then all you have to do is to refer to that particular provision of the contract, rather than trying to interpret it here in a handbook.
And that's why the line less specifically stated, because contracts change from time to time. And throughout the whole handbook, as you know, you approved it. It says that throughout, so whatever the contract says, that's the ruling document. Employees. So
Attorney, waiting for you, Attorney Williams.
I mean, I understand what Ms. Clennon just explained, that it says all employees have a 15-minute grace period, but all I'm saying is, and the intent of the language is to address that and to says that an employee cannot accumulate more than 29 minutes of lateness in a two-week pay period, or else they'll be docked.
remember, under the contract, the 29 minutes under the article, it speaks to the docking policy. We can't dock an employee unless you've accumulated 30 minutes of time, right? So 29 minutes or less, regular time. 29 minutes or less is regular time. It's not under the discipline policy. It's not to say within 2 weeks, If you're 29 minutes late every 2 weeks, I can't discipline you, right? It's not giving you permission, it's just saying, I can't dock you, because work still starts at 8. So even if you choose every Wednesday to be 29 minutes late every Wednesday, that's still a problem for your employer. So it doesn't.
Which was the point I was gonna make earlier,
So it don't
is
talk
that
about this, it's just the docking
even if the
part.
employee is late, comes in at 8:14 every day, it doesn't prevent the manager from disciplining them because
If you're
there are
still,
other ways that you
exactly,
can
you're
do it.
correct, you're still late, but what we did in the old, the language there just gave you permission to, so I can't discipline you if I'm telling you, come to work at 8:15. Just wanna take that, okay? All right, thank you.
So we okay?
Attorney Maynard?
I have no.
Dr. Cohen?
I agree with their proposal.
So you do what you gotta do.
You do it since you're a new person.
And
Adopting the language that's in the G. I assume this is Mr. Nib's proposal.
No, this is
The system
It's
proposal.
Only the administrator can make
the system
recommendations
doesn't,
to
the
board.
system can't make a recommendation, Mr. Nibs. The administrator has to.
Fine, it's my
That's what I'm
recommendation.
saying.
Okay.
Just adopt the administrator's recommendation.
You're telling me to do it.
Well, whoever's making the proposal.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I told Dr. Cohen to do it, that's why I was telling
Who will second it?
Dr. Cohen, Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the recommendation of the administrator to adjust the language in the personnel handbook relative to the grace period.
We need a second?
yeah, I'll take a second.
Trustee Colward,
Yes.
trustee Cohen,
Yes.
trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Maynard,
Yes.
trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Smith, absent. Chairman Callahan,
Yes.
you have 4 yes, 3 absent.
Thank you. Meet your needs.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
We went through all of that to remove one line.
I know,
right?
I'm
One
sorry.
sentence.
That's why I
That's
wasn't
what I
taking,
tell you.
going anyplace else.
One sentence.
Yes, I didn't.
When you see the labor trustee don't argue about something, it's a reason.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this is a account that we have set up. The name of it is the Sunshine Fund. What we're trying to do is change remove the signatory from Janice Turnbull, who is the former HR, to Ms. Clendenin. This fund is used to deposit all the monies from the soda machines, from the vending machines in the building. And it's used for employee, activities. Like if someone, family died, we buy a wreath, things like that. So it's used for employee activities. So all we're doing is changing the signatory from Ms. Turnbull to Asia Clendenin Gums.
You mean your system makes money from those machines?
We have contracts with the vendors, yeah.
I actually thought it was
Well, when
owned
I-
by,
Huh?
I thought those machines were owned by a company or,
No, the company has to pay us to have the machine in here.
I thought they just paying you rent.
No.
Okay,
You get a
okay.
commission off for the sales.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a fundraising for most places.
Didn't know that people got schemes to make money.
Think, yeah. 25 cents for every soda. and
Are the other signatories on the account, or is it just one person?
Yes, it's myself also. I think
Yes.
the CFO, I think you, Mayor, Mr. Chairman, and the Vice Chair may have to sign the resolution, yes. The bank resolution. But the thing is, 2 signatories at all the time. So it's usually myself, I think it's one.
That's it. Just.
I think it's one, huh? Yeah.
So they're like 4 signatories, but you need 2 persons to sign on a check?
You can sign one. What happened is Ms. Turnbull will come in and say, I have to do a check or something. I'll see the checkbook and I just give her authority, she'd sign it. If she's out, I would sign it.
Okay. All right, Ms. Clendenin, good luck.
So moved.
All right.
So moved.
So move on.
We gotta move to the, you gotta do it.
You mean the executive session?
No,
Signatory.
to approve the her name going down.
And shift the signee.
Well, somebody makes a
She moved
motion.
to accept the administrator's recommendation.
That's what I just did.
Oh. Tell me you move. I don't know, you
Okay.
keep moving. So we got a second?
Yeah, Attorney Maynard just did.
I'm a step behind today.
Yes, you are.
Trustee Colwood.
Yes.
Trustee
More
Cohen.
educational requirement.
Yes?
Trustee Maynard absent. Trustee Liger absent. Trustee Maynard.
Yes.
Trustee McDonald absent. Trustee Smith absent. Chairman Callahan.
Yes.
Chair 4 yes, 3 absent.
All right. That change has passed. Okay. This portion of the meeting will be closed to the public for matters pertaining to trade secrets or financial or commercial information. Need a motion to go into executive session?
I move to go in executive session?
Set.
Trustee Colwood, second.
Maynard.
Oh, did? Okay.
Trustee Colwood.
Yes.
Trustee Cohen.
Yes?
Trustee Liger absent. Trustee Maynard.
Yes.
Trustee McDonald absent. Trustee Smith absent. Chairman Callahan.
Yes.
Chair 4 yes, 3 absent.
Dr. Cohen, you can stretch your legs. You get 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Trustee Dan, you're not